Tom Fiddzy here with my review and reaction to The Bad Batch Episode 6. It was called Decommissioned, and the second we got that title, I was like, it's Battle Droids. It's going to be a Battle Droid episode. That is it's like a new tradition of the Star Wars animated series, that you have an episode with some Battle Droids that come back. You know, they get commissioned again, and they switch sides. It happened in Rebels, it happened in Resistance, and it's happened here as well in The Bad Batch. It's just a tradition. You've got a battle droid in every single one of the Star Wars animated shows, and I'm fine with that because I do like the battle droids. I love their voices, and it's always great to see them, and I love how you do that switch of them where, you know, the Separatists were the bad guys, but then it turns out as you get into like the Rebellion era that maybe the Separatists were actually more of the good guys all along, and the battle droids become, you know, turn from enemies to allies, and I really like that. Also like some kind of grey areas as well, because like obviously the battle droids, with droids in general as well, you know, and you can kind of view it as like a reflection on the clones too. The droids are manufactured products, and in this episode we see them, you know, they're no longer used, they're not needed, so we're going to decommission them. We're gonna melt them and you know, sell them off for parts and stuff. You know, the war's over. We don't need the tools of war anymore, so we're gonna scrap them. But they're also, as you see when they're activated, they're individuals. They have personalities. They may be programmed in, but it's that big questionable thing with droids. How sentient is a droid? I mean, R2-D2 and C-3PO, you know, especially R2-D2, very much an independent thinker. I know obviously the more, you know, if you don't wipe their memories, they start to develop pure like AI, but you're seeing droids here on a conveyor belt, you know, and all it takes is a flip of a switch and they're back to being alive. And yeah, that's interesting. It's kind of, it's different to what the clones are going through, because obviously the clones are people and you can't, I mean, you could, but you can't really just put people on a conveyor belt and throw them in a big smelter, even though I'm sure the Empire would gladly do that if it meant they could very quickly get rid of the clones. But, you know, the battle droids are being treated in that way of, you no longer use, get on the conveyor belt and get in the smelter, whereas the clones are getting phased out. So it's interesting parallels as well, you know. The clones could probably look at the battle droids as like, this is us, isn't it? You know, this is our future, you know. Our assembly lines have been turned off as well, and, you know, we're not getting thrown into a smelter, but we're going to get it's going to be a slower phase out for us. So it's interesting. And yeah, I always like it when battle droids come back. I did also think it was weird that the station, you know, on Corellia, which was really cool, but the station that they were on was guarded by different droids, police droids, and you're melting battle droids designed that have been seen guarding and stuff. You're getting rid of them, but then you're getting loads of police droids. Just turn the battle droids into the police droids, and then you don't need to melt them. Anyway, that's a bit weird. But they had to get a tactical droid head, which I'm pretty sure that was the story in Star Wars Rebels as well, wasn't it? Right? That's come up quite a lot of times. Get the head of the tactical droid, but it's fine. Even though that was like the main story, kind of like a lot of these ones, it was very generic. You know, as I said, we've had this story told before. Battle droids flipping, getting a tactical droid's head, you know, getting the data on it. It's been done before, but what the Bad Batch did is they put a twist on it, and we had some stuff in here with Wrecker. The second Wrecker was like, I don't want to go up there, you know, talking about his heights and stuff. He was like, oh no, and he started complaining. He's like, that's Crosshair's job. And then he goes up there and he bangs his head. I was like, I knew the second they started focusing on that, they was like, oh, we're going to get something. We're going to get something. And we got it. You know, he started saying it. Good soldiers follow orders. And it wasn't full on this time, you know. Omega snapped him out of it, or it seemed like Omega snapped him out of it, and I think that was cool. We've seen their relationship building, so it's good that, you know, she was the one. Everyone else was calling him, and he was like confused. She called him. She was like, right, okay, I got to do the mission. Got to help her out. I hope this isn't the end of it, though. You know, I hope it wasn't just that one bang on the head. I'm sure it's going to keep coming up. Hopefully, it's not always he bangs his head and it happens. That's going to be a little bit coincidental if it does happen. But what about if any of the others sustain head damage? That could happen. We had the the Martez sisters in it, Trace and Rafa. They appeared in it. That was a surprise as well. And I was like, okay, that's cool. It's cool that we're linking it into the Ahsoka stuff from the Clone Wars. But they weren't like my favourite characters. I more saw them and I was like, is that? It is. Okay. But we find out that they're kind of working, we're assuming the Rebellion. They're working for people that are doing good. Not sure if it's the Rebellion or Saw Gerrera. We see a figure, a hologram. Star Wars love its mystery hologram person. We see the corner of a mystery hologram person. Don't know who it is. There are some obvious theories. Could it be Saw Gerrera? That's a high chance because he's been in the series before. I'm sure he's going to come back. Could it be Bail Organa and setting up the Rebellion? I think that's a high one. Maybe. Look like kind of fancy robes. Could it be Rex? She made the point, I found some clones that you might be interested in. We know Rex is going to be in the series. He's been mentioned before. So I'm going with either Bail Organa or Rex. I haven't watched anything. I literally just watched the episode and I pressed record. I haven't gone on Star Wars Explained to see his thoughts on it yet. Or Codsladder or anyone else's. So I'll see what they're speculating on. But probably Rex. It's probably going to be Rex. He's been around visiting other clones. We know that. If not Saw Gerrera. But do I want it? Not Saw Gerrera, if not Bail Organa. But do I want it to be Bail Organa? Do I want it to be the Rebellion? No, because I like the fact that they're becoming mercenaries. Got to see Sid again in this episode. Sid was cool. A little bit disappointing that they're like second mission they actually failed. I wonder if that's going to have any repercussions. But I like the fact that they were becoming mercenaries because it's different. We've had a series about the Rebellion, then we had a series about the Resistance, which is basically the Rebellion 2, and then we had The Mandalorian, which was about bounty hunters, and now we're getting one that look like mercenaries. I don't want this to become another one about the early Rebellion because we've had that twice basically in different eras. So maybe if it is Saw Gerrera, partisans, yes, because they're very different, and the Bad Batch I think would fit more partisans. There's a lot of cool characters in the partisans that I want to get to know more. What's that? That guy with like the Wookiee guy with like the skull face, and the Bib Fortuna's weird cousin. Let's see some of them. The Boar Gullet. I want to learn more about that. Let's see the Bad Batch go get the Boar Gullet or something. But I think that partisans would be better. Rebellion, not so much. Staying as mercenaries, preferred, actually, because it's a slightly, it's still linked to bounty hunters, but it's slightly different. Do more varied missions and stuff. Sometimes bounty hunters just do jobs like mercenaries. It's like, you're meant to be bounty hunters, not full-on mercenaries. So it'd be good to kind of get a bit of a difference between the two. Because, sometimes in The Mandalorian, he's doing very mercenary-like missions. And it'd be good to keep the two a little bit separate. But I would have preferred it more if it was mercenaries. So mercenaries, partisans. If it is Bail Organa, that's cool. But I'd rather not have them join the Rebellion. Because then the early Rebellion is just getting filled up with all of these people that we've known, They can't all go to the same place. Because then you're constantly like, did they ever meet? Why didn't they show up in this? You have to constantly be like, where were they in A New Hope? With like that guy in like Return of the Jedi. It's like, was that guy Rex, the guy with the white beard? Now we're going to be, could that be could that be Wrecker, that person? Oh, that person was very smart. Maybe it's Tech, So yeah, but overall, pretty good episode. It was a bit like, as I said, it was a bit samey in the sense that a lot of the plot points we'd seen before, but they threw enough different stuff in it to make it interesting. Just some small stuff with Wrecker. Didn't take over the episode, but was a hint towards the fact that it's still coming up. Hints more towards the next part of the series. I do worry that we're going to move away from the mercenary stuff a bit too early, but, still sitting back, still waiting. Good to see Omega as well developing, learning how to use a bow and arrow. Maybe, or bow and energy blasts, but maybe a little bit too easy. You got to work on your upper body. You do a bit of climbing and then suddenly you're Arnold Schwarzenegger, you develop that core pretty quick. Maybe that's a superpower, who knows. But yeah, pretty good episode. I always enjoy seeing a battle droid, so for that, I had fun. Episode 6, Roger, roger.